This was supposed to be a simple brush cutting job, and what it's turned into is a test to see if I can make it home safely or not. And it's still in doubt, so I better get moving. So here's the door latch for my tractor, and I don't go there. I have no idea what I'm driving into. It said, "This is where I'm glad I'm not in a small tractor." I guess this is just what happens when you agree to mow a property that you don't know anything about with a tractor that you don't know anything about. And now I've got to deal with it. This is the closest I've ever come to flipping a tractor over. And I know the tractor is going to make it across here, but I was just worried about pulling that much weight behind the truck and losing traction in this washout area. Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farm. And today we're going to do a big mowing job. Now, I was going to do that with my TYM 574, but I had a major problem on the way here. I shared that in the last video. So today I'm using this Branson 6530. This is a gear drive utility tractor, bigger than anything I'm used to. But luckily, I have a giant overbuilt brush cutter to run on it that will be perfect pairing for that. This is a Rhino Ag TW36. Awesome cutter. Can handle material. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 inch diameter, but shouldn't have any problem out here. What I've got is a 20-acre property. Property owner just bought this and is in the process of moving here, but it's not been cut in a long time. Hopefully there's nothing buried in these weeds, but I'm just going to be mowing and giving you guys my review or my experience of running this tractor with this attachment and just show you what happens. All right, should be a fun day. This is a 25-year-old tractor. Okay, this is a shuttle shift, so we've got our forward and reverse here. We've got our 3 ranges here. We've got our 4 gears here. This has a set point on the 3-point. So you lift this, it goes up. You just press it down. It drops down to the height you have it set at here. Kind of a nice little feature. It's got a 3-speed PTO. I don't really think I'll have any use to change that. Here's your 4-wheel drive, creeper gear. This is your PTO switches here and here. Loader joystick. Feels kind of like a tractor. We do have some air conditioning up here and a radio I won't use. Just to start with, I'm going to try B1 and see how that does. I believe this is a 65 horsepower tractor. This is one of those deals where I have no idea what the terrain is. I don't know if I'm going to drive off in a hole or run over an old plow or anything else. Gotta cream it and hope for the best is what my uncle used to tell me. Well, my strategy is to make a loop all the way around the perimeter of the property. My voice just went up a couple octaves because I got a little surprised. This steering wheel was shifted on me as I was going over a bump. I did not anticipate that. Got my attention for sure. I stopped for a minute just to see what the height is like on my 3-point. That's what I thought. It's not low enough. Okay, so I'm not getting it to drop as low as it should. It wasn't dropping because it has this raise and lower switch here on the back, and it was stuck in the up position. That's what was keeping my adjustment from working. I don't know if that back lever is supposed to work that way or if it's just old and stuck. I mean, this is an old tractor. But now I should be able to set it. So now we're going to adjust this where we want it. Say, let's guess, at 3. Move this little stop right here. Now we go up. and down. Just to show you what we're cutting, that's 8 or 9 foot tall grass. Thick grass like this actually bogs a mower down more, in my experience, than like saplings or brush. Now, I don't know much about this tractor, so I'm going to let Jake from the tractor yard tell you about it. This is a utility tractor. What's the model number?
So this is a Branson 6530.
Is that a model that you can still buy today?
They don't build this one anymore. TYM has a 654. It's going to be the closest comparable model to this one. This machine, so it's 65 horsepower. It's actually a Cummins B3.3. So there's always kind of that conversation about Cummins and Coupe J and Branson. Well, back in the day, this is a 20-year-old tractor. It's a 2005 model. They actually did brand these Cummins, and it's a B3.3 versus what they normally put in this size tractor now. Like the 5835 is an A2300 Cummins engine. That's kind of where a lot of this Cummins lore comes from, and they still do use the Cummins platform today, but this has got a little bit bigger Cummins engine in it, and man, it's a beast. I think you're gonna like it. So the two closest models that you could get to this today is gonna be the TYM 654, which is gonna have a Deutz engine in it, or you can get the Branson or TYM 5835, or the newest version of that, which is the 4058. That's a 58 horsepower. That's gonna be the closest you can get to this one today.
I talked to Jake. He said he would probably either mow in V1 or V2. So that is essentially 5th or 6th gear out of 12. But because I don't know where I'm at or what's in front of me or anything about this property, and I'm close to the fence line, I'm going to start off in A4, so 4th gear instead of 5th or 6th. Make this first pass nice and slow and scout the place out. The house is over here, and there's a pond back here somewhere, and I don't think he wanted me to go necessarily behind the pond. We're not going to start off going behind the pond. When everything else is done, we'll see if I need to push out into the edges a little more. But right now, I think he said water drains off the property into the pond right here. So if anything was muddy, this would be it. How big of a hill is this? Oh yeah, that's steep. We're good. That would be a bigger deal on a smaller tractor. This thing just went right over it, but that's like a 4-foot bump I just drove up. Now this is the part over here. The pond is right over there. If we wanted to mow that, we'd work our way into it slowly, figuring out what's where. Maybe walk it first. Like, I don't know, water could start. There could be a shallow part of this that comes out this way. I don't know. See what we can tell when we get up here. Oh, I don't know how far down here before it gets soft. I'm going to keep my distance for now, and maybe we'll work up closer in a little while. I can see some ground there. It looks dry. Nice little property here, out in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Got a boat out here. I hope it's dry and there's no garbage in the field. Like, I can't tell if that's tall grass. That's a hill. That's a pond dam. There's a big log. Like a tree fell over here recently. We got a big loop over there. I think he said this was 20 acres. You know, if this was my property, I might be pushing up into that brush in places, but I don't know what his expectation is. I bid this job, gave him a price without ever seeing it. He did show me a satellite picture, but that's all. I don't know how far his property goes up into the woods, but I think he's just expecting me to go up to the tree line like I'm doing. Been mowing for about half an hour, and everything's going pretty good. I got a feel for the property. I've started rounding off some of these little corners here, so I'm not making a funny loop. I feel really comfortable in this big tractor. So stable. It's like it's not working hard, it's just going. My temperature gauge hasn't fluctuated. My fuel gauge hasn't fluctuated. Just nice, easy mowing. I mean, it's bumpy and there's lots of trees to go around, but nice working tractor right here. Well, I've been mowing for a couple hours now, and I'll tell you, the tractor is great, but the air conditioner is not really working. So I am absolutely cooking in this cab. Man, it's 85 degrees. I'm gonna drop 10 pounds today. All right, so I'm just cruising along, and there are lots of patches of this 8-foot tall grass, and this one has a giant brush pile in it, and I didn't know that till I feel the front wheels lifting up on top of brush and hear that crunching. I'm gonna see if I can work my way around it now. Those are the type of moments when you're glad you're not in a small tractor. I've got it in creep mode now. Got the bucket down low. See if we can find the perimeter of that pile. I have no idea what I'm driving into. It said this is where I'm glad I'm not in a small tractor. What in the world? A giant brush pile. And there are, you know, a handful of brush piles all around the property. But it would be nice if you could just see a little bit of the brush to know where they're at. That's just what happens when you buy a property that, you know, if it was on the market a while and no one bought it, who's doing the maintenance? So, just part of it, I guess. And I was supposed to come mow this a month ago, but I haven't been able to make it. All the other drama I've got going, and trying to bale my own hay, and watch my grandkids, and the rain. I'm finally here. All right, so we got a pocket there, and we left it. I guess this is just what happens when you agree to mow a property that you don't know anything about with a tractor that you don't know anything about. And now I've got to deal with it. So I was mowing along by that brush pile, and wham! Jerked it to a stop, slip clutch started slipping, and wrapped all this around here, and it is bound up. So I'm gonna have to get up there and try to cut it all out. This is dumb. This is really dumb. So what it looked like whenever I hit this was that there was just a spool of wire up here, just like laying on the ground all spooled up because I wrapped it around here. Then it's not connected anywhere, you know, hanging out. It cut it off, but it's wrapped up in there so tight it won't turn. But I had to go up to the truck to get a tool. I started looking for where'd this wire come from. And I'll show you in that direction in a minute. But over here, I'm thinking that this was actually hooked to something. We've got this electrical box here, just out in the middle of a field. I mean, is that like a well pump? And here is electrical wire right here. Then I hit that with the tractor right over here. So this is where the electrical wire was. And you see that electrical pole there? It's maybe 150 feet from me. Well, halfway between me and that pole, that wire ran out and it was kind of spooled up there. And I'm like, okay, someone's left this piled out here in two places for some reason. So I took it up to the truck and I started thinking, would this reach if this was all stretched out? Now it doesn't make sense that instead of cutting that, it would have pulled it that far because it was a long way from the pole. But there is enough wire that could have been, that probably could have reached the electrical pole. Now keep in mind, I'm right out in the middle of the field. I'm not digging. I'm just, you know, brush cutting. We're probably cutting this 5-6 inches tall. Probably more than that. I'm cutting it pretty tall. It's a brush cutter. But that wire was stretched out and I picked up the rest of that wire over there and I drug it up by the house. But if you come down here to this electrical pole, we've got those wires right there. Now, that's a totally different type of wire, the sheeting and everything. It looks cut off, not ripped out. And there's nothing in there. All of this wire was out in that field, just laying out there. That's one end. And the other end looked like this. Okay, so this was not just now ripped out of something because this was taped up after the end was separated. Okay, so this is not just normal wire. This is like an overhead cable. And so it's got a wire and then like this support wire for strength to hold the wire up in the air. And I could not cut it with regular cutters. After the incident with the wire, I ran out of time last night. In order to get here, I had to drive through standing water a few times. This whole county's flooded. So I'm back out here this morning to show you kind of where we're at. We're waiting for this rain to end so I can finish. It's supposed to be a light rain and it's not supposed to last that long, but we'll see. You can see that's how close I've got to the house. This poor guy doesn't even own a lawnmower yet. He's gonna have to make some decisions on the equipment he wants to use pretty quick. But I got all this mowed as close as I could get to those trees. But a lot of this, I still needed to, you know, I did the rough mowing, but I needed to back into all these areas, back into there, back in over the edge of the pond. So if you look here, you know, I've mowed all this, but all of this, I still need to back in and get closer. Same thing here around the building. I need to back in and get closer to all of this, but I've got this main field mowed. So this is what I have left to mow. And this is kind of high ground, so it might still be possible, even though we've got a lot more rain than the forecast said. Done that over there. This is maybe 5, I'm betting this is like 7 acres over here that still needs mowed. I'm gonna try to wait out the rain, but I'm not optimistic that I'm gonna be able to finish this. It's kind of crazy that in 2025 we have artificial intelligence and self-driving cars and all of this technology, and they have absolutely no idea what the weather is going to do. Not like long-term forecast, but an hour from now. They have no idea. Last night, I was out here mowing until like 9:15 after it really got too dark to see. And I said, you know, I could try to mow part of this in the dark, but I'm not going to be able to get up close to anything. And so I got out my phone, I checked the weather, and it said 50% chance of rain today. But if you looked at it by hour, there was like a 40% chance of rain from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then it was like almost no chance of rain the rest of the day until like 6 p.m. I thought, well, I've got pretty good chance I'll be able to mow this tomorrow. So I decide I'm going to leave the tractor here, leave my trailer here. I'm going to go to a hotel. So I go and I'm standing in line at the lobby for the hotel and I check, and it's like 11 p.m. at this point. And the weather app says tomorrow morning it's a 22% chance of rain in the morning. Late in the evening, there's a good chance of rain, but very light chance of rain. 8 o'clock, I check the weather app, says rain ending around 9. 9 o'clock, I check the weather app, says rain ending around 10. And by then, it's raining harder and I'm getting flash flood notifications on my phone. So that time, I pretty well knew my chances were shot. It's now noon and I'm 2 hours from home and it still shows no let up in the rain. It's raining light but steady right now. And I'm going to have to load this tractor in the rain. There's thunder. I'm going to have to load this tractor in the rain, connect my trailer in the rain, take it back to Jake, unload it in the rain, and then go back home. And what really sucks is I didn't get this guy's job done. He still doesn't have his property mowed. I mowed maybe 70% of it. So at this point, I've got no alternative but to call the whole thing off and head home, and I'm going to have to come back here. The last thing I want to show you is this is the closest I've ever come to flipping a tractor over. The way this grass was, I could not tell this hill was even like this. But that's almost a straight drop off, and I was trying to mow across the side of it. And I was doing just fine, and all of a sudden it got steep in a hurry, and I was moving a little too fast probably. And in a smaller tractor, I might have flipped over right there. But I turned into it, and I had the bucket low, and I had a heavy machine and a heavy implement, and I was able to turn down it, and I took a little scoop out as I came down there. But it definitely slid down that hill. But look at the way this stream is washing out. This guy's got a problem with what he's going to do with his driveway. So all that is running down here and it's washing this out. Look at that flow. I mean, yesterday, this has dropped 8 or 10 inches from the height that this was yesterday. And it's also washing out up there. I'll be lucky to get my equipment and get out of here before I get flooded in. So I'm sure I would have been fine anyway, but what I decided to do was to get up out of all this wet area with the truck and trailer so I didn't have to worry about getting stuck with all this weight behind the truck. I would have got stuck. I almost got stuck anyway. And so I drove the truck across this washed out part of the driveway, the truck and trailer. And I know the tractor is going to make it across here, but I was just worried about pulling that much weight behind the truck and losing traction in this washed out area. I was talking to the homeowner up there that he's just got a little car right now, and it's supposed to rain for 2 more days. Like, he needs to have a plan in place for if this totally washes out, what he's going to do. Which you can get, stuff delivered, food and stuff from like Walmart and brought to the end of the driveway, and you can walk down here. And then his neighbor actually has a tractor. So maybe that's the solution. Turns out this entire county is just flooded. have had to drive through standing water a bunch of times to get here. But this is the entrance to Jake's property where I'm going to be dropping the tractor off. Really be nice if we could get out of here without getting stuck. Now, this is a decision point right here. Once I go down this, I'm kind of thinking I might stop right here, but I don't know if I'm blocking someone's driveway. Okay, this is rock going down this. I see rock down here. So I think this will be, I'll go ahead and get all the way down here and stop, unload, and then not go any further. Yeah, so now I'm on dirt, but then this is rock. This is a stopping point. This is a turnaround point, I think. I have reached my destination. Appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.